We're doing stanza 75, and I said to stanza 75, 76, 70, particularly 70, 75, 76. This is, we are touching a very important, subtle and sensitive part. Very subtle, very important and sensitive part. Okay. Then in addition to this, the question from Wayne, right? There's something is functioning there, right? This is a very important question, and it can this can trouble Wayne. This can trouble not only Wayne, many of us. In fact, it troubled me for so many years. This question, right? So this is because we are so addicted to seeing things as objectively real, right? Slowly. And the moment you give up, you'll go back to square one, right? Then overcoming this problem. Again, you have to start from the beginning. So there, when you feel you cannot express it, but still it's not coming ease. It's not really they're coming with the ease. Yet you cannot put the question so precisely like this, and the other person easily give the answer. You don't question. So it is actually challenging the misperception of things as objectively real. So this is slowly untangled, like the knot. So many knots are there, one after the other, for all these many lifetimes. So as these challenges are coming, actually is untangling, right? Untangling the knots one by one. Then slowly, to some extent, the knots are untangled. Then you feel that, okay, yes, within this dreamlike, the mere appearance, the functionality just on that level. It'll come to you slowly, right? Okay. So therefore I said stanza 75, 76. What did I say? Very important, very subtle, very sensitive. Very sensitive. It can easily take us into, why sensitive? If you don't understand it well, it can easily take us into nihilism. You're getting it? Okay. 75. Essential beings do not exist, towards whom does one generate compassion? So, to give it a very simple answer, quick answer, is that, to whom the essential beings do not exist objectively, towards whom does one generate compassion? We generate compassion towards the subjectively existent person, subjectively existent sentient being. It's very easy. But the question is a very deep question. You getting it? So when you feel struggling, okay, something, yes, I understand what he's saying, but still something is there. What you are actually looking for is something is there. You are saying the infallibility of cause and effect, right? So infallibility has the connotation of something very precise, solid essence, something there, right? So this essence meaning objective. Okay, this is how our mind is. Our mind needs to be unraveled, right? Unraveled of the deeper and deeper reality. Okay. It is the one imputed by ignorance which is accepted for the goal. Okay, now let me explain this in two ways. One, in a very simple way, that the sentient beings to whom we feel compassionate are the sentient beings subjectively imputed sentient beings. Okay, no debate. Become very easy. But the point is, from what we have, let's say but it does not really help us. Just by saying this, it doesn't really help us to challenge our self-grasping ignorance, right? So then we spoke about how things come into existence simply by the mere appearance there, mere appearance. So on which side, nothing's really there, mere appearance. It's quite scary though, right? Quite scary. If it really hits you, it can be very scary, right? At times, so therefore some people who are karmically drawn towards this, suddenly they really feel the shock and their mind may feel a little disturbed. So it is for this reason that it is said that the Buddha remained silent for 49 days. Right? And I did not remain silent for even one day. Right? Just I spoke of the emptiness. So therefore, if there is a problem coming, but it's very rare, don't worry. Right? 1 out of 1,000, 1 out of 2,000 people. So if these problems do happen, whereas if I directly talk about emptiness without focusing on the dependent origination side, then people can easily go into nihilism, right? So because we focus so much on the functionality, dependent origination, and the illusion-like, not illusion. These distinctions are being made, so dangerous much less. So, in all, the point is that the emptiness is advised not to teach to people who are not prepared for this. You getting it? Okay. So the point is that it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing because it's a challenge thing. Keep doing this. Study, reflection, meditation, more reading, and reading authentic books, not just any material. This is my emphasis, because it is more like giving the first diet to the very clean cloth. So first diet, if it is very murky color diet with very murky color, then later on trying to give a good color is not possible. So the first diet, the first diet that you are giving to the cloth of your mind, it must be very nice. So therefore, read only the very authentic books. Don't simply because it's written by some author, okay, there's a book there, because there's a book there. No, don't do it. First, get little experience of emptiness through reading very standard books. Once you get experience of emptiness, once you're very confident with the study reflection, then you can read any book, it's fine. So then you will be in a position to say, oh, this book is not good, this book is good. You can make distinction. Okay. So the point that we are trying to share here is that then the question is, okay, so if things are objectively empty, all subjective real, like just appearance, then who creates this appearance? It is the one imputed by ignorance, which is accepted for the goal. It is imputed by the ignorance, our ignorance, self-grasping ignorance. That is one which is imputing this appearance. Okay, this is very scary, and oftentimes even the scholars may not agree with this and agree with me. Right? It doesn't matter. It's the one imputed by ignorance which is accepted for the goal. What do you mean by accept for the goal? Let's say that you are fast asleep and you are dreaming. You are dreaming of a ghost. A ghost is chasing you. There's so much of fear in you. You're getting it? Okay. So tell me, which is better? Being chased by a ghost, so much of fear? One scenario. Scenario 2, right? Being chased by a ghost and you're about to wake up, but the dream still continuing, about to wake up. Scenario 3, you're already woken up. Tell me, which is best? Huh? What about the second? Huh? Not so much. You don't like it. So, if you go through the first one, then why don't you go to directly the third one? Right? Wake up. No, process should be there. Waking up is a process. To wake up, it should go through a process. Yes, no? Right? To have audience with this audience element during the Southeast Asia teaching, right? So, okay, tomorrow I'll have a teaching of his audience element. Tomorrow there. No, you have to process. You have to take a flight to Delhi, Amritsar. From there again you take a bus or a car. So it's a process. You're getting it? Process towards the goal. So the point is that the goal is for us, if you are being bothered by the dream ghosts in the dream, your goal is to wake up. To wake up, what is the linking point? On the verge to waking up. Right? On the verge to waking up. From the fully sucked into the dream to the verge to waking up. and even to greater verge to waking up, then eventually waking up. Right? This is a process. So, on the verge to waking up, on the almost verge to waking up, these are still in the dream state or already woken up? Dream state. You're getting it? Dreams still they are affected by the ignorance. Still they are affected by the ignorance. Not only when there's so much of fear that the ghost is chasing you, you are running, right? Believing that it's 100% real. Okay, and then, okay, so you're on the verge of this is a dream, I should wake up, still this dream. Right? Okay, so all these the steps on the verge to wake up, on the greatly on the verge to wake up, these are the processes. These are the processes towards your goal of waking up fully. So these processes, they are still within the domain of the dream. Still domain of the under the sway of the ignorance. You're getting it? So still you see the ghost chasing you, you are saying that you are a dream, right? Still you are in a dream. You're getting it? So therefore, the point is that even the process, without going through this process, you're going to wake up. You agree with me? Without going through a process, you're going to wake up. And the process is under the domain of the ignorance. So within that, you see that the processes are very precious. Although in the domain of the ignorance, still that process of waking up is very precious. Yes, no? Very precious. So therefore it says that it is the one imputed by ignorance which is accepted for the goal. To achieve the goal, these processes of waking up, processes which are created still under the domain of the ignorance, imputing these perceptions, right? So these are all accepted. Yes, this is happening. Now this is happening. Now I'm on the verge of waking up. All these things, these processes are for the goal, except for the goal. So say, okay, now the dream is, the ghost is almost coming to get me. Don't worry, you're about to wake up, right? The ghost is not getting you actually. It's just a dream, right? But, so this process is almost, don't worry, you will wake up soon. So these are all the processes. Process meaning still within the domain of the creation of this appearance. Still you are not free from the appearance of the dream. So, which is accepted? So, which is better? In the dream, say the ghost is chasing you, and in the dream, say, okay, somebody says, don't worry, right? Don't worry. Then somebody even comes to say mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, and the ghost runs away. Okay, which is better? As long as you're in the dream, somebody casting mantra and the ghost running away is better. Yes, no? Likewise, the process is much better than the actual miseries. So although this process is still under the domain of the ignorance, you have to accept. Within the dream, you have to accept what the dream dictates. Within the dream, you have to accept what the dream dictates. When you wake up, you don't have to follow the dream. Right? It's just my dream. With the dream, the ghost comes, hey, you're my dream. Mantra is also my dream. No. In the dream, accept the mantra is very precious. Let somebody recite the mantra for you. And the ghost will run away. Ghost running away is also dream. Right? But within that, you have to accept. You have to accept the dictates of the dream, conventions of the dream. Okay, likewise, what we're going through, if nothing is really objectively here, then all these appearances come. Yes, respect these appearances, accept these appearances till you wake up. Till you wake up from the dream, you have to follow the dictates of the dream. Okay, so which is accepted for the goal. For the goal means till you achieve that goal. To achieve that goal, you have to follow these processes. 76. Whose fruit is it if there are no sentient beings? Fair enough. But this is posited through ignorance. Okay, so whose fruit now say, okay, I've woken up. Okay, we are all awakened now, right? Okay, so awakening is the result. Yes, even the result disappears in the subjective, when you subject this to ultimate analysis, even the result disappears, right? And sentient beings, the beings also disappear. The results also disappear. Where's the result and who experienced the result? because the experience of the result disappears in this the ultimate analysis. Whose fruit is it if there are no sentient beings under the ultimate analysis? Fair enough, but this is posited through ignorance. So what? Objectively nothing is here. Then what happens? Everything is functioning where? Just on the level of the subjective appearance, conventional appearance. Just on the level of appearance. Okay. Then, but this is positive. This appearance of the functionality is posited by the power of the ignorance, like the dream. The ignorance creating the dream. In order to completely pacify suffering, for the result, eliminate not ignorance associated. Okay, this is a very important, and it can easily take us to nihilism, and it can easily take us into some strange, say the philosophical positions. Okay, so now it says for the result meaning awakening. What's the result? What you're seeking? Full awakening. You want to wake up from the dream altogether. Right? This is the result. For this result, you will go to the process. And the process is within the dream or awakened state. The process, if it's awakened state, it's the result state. It's not a process. So process means it's in the dream state. Within the dream state, this dream is not the conventional dream. It's what we will call the dream-like. Right? Dream-like means what is the difference between dream and the dream-like? In dream, the law of cause and effect is not followed. Dream-like, law of cause and effect is followed. So therefore, follow, even though this is created by your ignorance, but follow the law of cause and effect, the way dictated by the ignorance, as long as you are not awakened. Right? Because by following the law of cause and effect, it will take you towards the awakening. Because the cause and effect says that, okay, if you meditate emptiness, which is also like dream. If you meditate emptiness, then your self-grasping ignorance will disappear. Then you follow the gate paragate. Then you do it more, then the parasangate. Then Bodhisattva. This is a process. So this process is happening where? In the dreamlike state. You're getting it? So this process is within the dreamlike state, is not in the waking state, So within the dreamlike state, there is some cause-effect relationship. Right? From the gate, you cannot jump to paragate directly. Right? You have to go gate, paragate. So there's a cause-effect relationship. And how is this cause-effect relationship happening? From the object or from the subject? From the subject. A subject to what? Appearance. This appearance created by the ignorance. As long as you don't wake up, follow the cause-effect relationship as dictated by, which was followed within the dictate of the creation by the ignorance. The appearance created by the ignorance. So at that point, till that point, you have to follow this cause-effect relationship dictated by the ignorance. You're getting it? So it says, for the result, eliminate not ignorance. It doesn't mean that don't eliminate ignorance. This is not meaning. So what appearance created by the ignorance, you have to, don't just say the ignorance, it's just ignorance creation. Right? You have to follow the cause-effect relationship within the bound of appearance, subjective appearance, which the ignorance has created. You're getting it? It doesn't mean that don't get rid of ignorance. You are in the process of eradicating the ignorance. You have not yet gotten rid of the ignorance. You're in the process. You're getting it? Okay. This is a very important stanza. 3 points. What did I say? Very important, very subtle, and very sensitive. Sensitive meaning it can easily bring misunderstanding or the misinterpretation. Eliminate not ignorance means, so still today we have been studying eliminate ignorance. So it says eliminate not ignorance, which means that in the process, as long as you're in the dream, what the dream dictates, follow that. Within the dream, you can do good things, bad things, and the dream-like. Unlike the usual dream, unlike the conventional dream, the dream-like is where the cause effect is followed. If you go the first gade, then this dream tells you that you're closer to the second gade. And this dream tells you that within the second gade, then you are closer to the paragade. Right? This is how the dream-like nature dictates. So that is just the appearance. It's not from the object reality. Okay, this is little what subtle. Of course, this is subtle, right? If you don't get it fully, don't worry. But never give up. This is a very important section. You getting it? Okay. 77. Because the arrogance which is the source of suffering, and stanza 75, 76, there can be many interpretations. I don't want to elaborate too much on this. There can be many interpretations. Even the big, the great saint scholars like Gyaltsab Rinpoche's version and others may differ. You're getting it? Okay. In most likelihood, what I would say is that stanzas 77 and 75 and 76 can best be explained if somebody is either very close to understand emptiness or already understood emptiness fully. Otherwise, challenging. Okay, so the point is that even the big books, the very standard books, may differ in the interpretation. You're getting it? Okay, so what I said now, don't forget it. Process of waking up is within the domain of the dream. You getting it? Process of waking up is within the domain of the dream, and this dream is unlike the conventional dream. This dream is a dream which follows the cause and effect, and this dream is created by the ignorance. So as long as you don't pass this level, gate, para sambhade, bodhisattva, which is all happening in the dreamlike nature, right? So as long as you don't pass this, you are still in the ensnarement of the dream, which is created by the ignorance. So till that point, right, you have to follow this. Because you have to follow this, you cannot discard this. You cannot discard the ignorance. You cannot discard it. Right? And if you discard it, what's the best way to discard it? You just say that it doesn't exist. If it doesn't say it doesn't exist, it is nihilism. Nihilism is the worst of the ignorance. You're getting it? Okay, so therefore, say as long as you don't wake up from the sleep, right, follow the dictate of the dream. And the dream, within that there are two kinds. The dream which can take you deeper into the dream and which can take you away from the dream. Two. Of the two, you go towards the second one, which can take you, the dictate of the dream, which can take you away from the dream. Okay, this is very important. 77. Because the arrogance, which is the source of suffering, misconceives. Okay, this is, okay, we may, anyway, by the way, this is my translation. So with a little bit of, say, the rectification of this translation here. Because the arrogance, which is the source of suffering, increases due to misconception of the self. Because of the arrogance, okay, let's say, no, not because of the arrogance, okay. I need a pencil. Thank you. Okay, say, thank you, we have done. Okay, so are they, or you can say like this. Because of the misconception of the self, arrogance, which is the source of suffering, increases. Because of the misconception of the self, arrogance, which is the source of suffering, increases. Because misperception of the self because of misperception of the self, arrogance, which is the source of suffering, increases. Okay. The meaning here is that misconception of self. You say that, oh, the self exists objectively real. Self exists objectively real. This is the ignorance which directly distorts the reality. Self, the ignorance which says that this I exists objectively real. This is the misconception or the ignorance which directly distorts the reality. Then the other one, arrogance here. Arrogance here refers to the ignorance in general. You don't know the reality of the reality of the self. Because you distort the reality of the self, then what the reality of the self is, you have no clue. Right? Okay. So because of the misconception of the self, then this arrogance, the ignorance pertaining to the self, it increases. And this ignorance, which does not know the reality of the self, increases. What happens? Then your suffering increases. Your suffering increases. So because of misconception of this self, the arrogance or / ignorance in general pertaining to the self, which is source of suffering, that increases, and thus the suffering increases. Okay, next line 3. But that cannot be undermined. Okay, that cannot be undermined. This is the position of the inverted comma. If the opponent say that, but this arrogance or this ignorance pertaining to self cannot be eradicated, then the Prasanga would say, to meditate on selflessness is the supreme. Yes, that can be eradicated. Just meditate on the selflessness of the person, selflessness of phenomena. This will help. This is the supreme way to eradicate this arrogance or the misconception, the arrogance of the ignorance in general of the self. Okay. Now we come to the next part, which is selflessness of person finished. Now the selflessness of phenomena, right? And the selflessness of phenomena, the author Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra is explaining on the basis of what is known as the 4 mindfulnesses. The selflessness of phenomena explained in the form of what is known as the 4 mindfulnesses. And 4 mindfulnesses, this is a very, very important practice, particularly prevalent in the Theravada tradition. 4 mindfulnesses. So there is a whole sutra there known as the Satipatthana Sutra. Satipatthana Sutra, which is very important sutra for both the Theravada practitioners and for the Chinese Mahayana tradition practitioners and the Tibetan Buddhist practitioners. This is a very important practice for all of us. Okay. So for this, the Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra explains this, it's basically this understanding of the 4 mindfulnesses. We have to understand this in on 2 levels. On 2 levels. One, the way interpreted or understood, way it is practiced by the Theravada practitioners and all 3 traditions alike. And the other version, which is exception, which is specifically done by the Prasangika practitioners. Prasangika practitioners, right? Prasangika meaning the Buddhist philosophy, one of the Buddhist philosophers, the position which is held by Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra. So both are there. And Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra explains it pertaining to the Prasangika version of the interpretation of the 4 seals, not the general presentation. Okay, general presentation is what I'd like to share with you here very quickly. Okay. In Buddhism, say, okay, how many of you are aware of the 4 seals? Most of you are aware. What are the 4 seals of the Buddha's teaching? All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are suffering nature. Everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is nirvana, absolute peace. Okay, 4, right? These 4. Now these 4 say characterized and the characteristics. When I say all composite things are impermanent, what is the characterized? Composite things are composite things. That is the characterized, and the characteristic is what? Impermanent. Okay, now from these 4 seals, let us pick up the characteristics only. What are the 4 characteristics associated with the 4 seals? Impermanence, suffering, emptiness. Okay, so the emptiness, selflessness, right? And the transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Keep that aside. Number 3, we split that into 2. Emptiness and selflessness. 4. Okay, so tell me, what are the 4 characteristics associated with the 4 seals? Impermanence, suffering, emptiness, selfless. Okay, so this, there are 4, and in some sutras you find the mention of only 3. Say, impermanence, anicca, impermanence in Pali. Then the second one is dukkha, suffering. Then number 3, selflessness, anatta, 3. Right? Okay. In many sutras, it's just the 3. Anicca, anatta, dukkha. Whereas in some sutras, it is anicca, impermanence, dukkha, suffering, then the selflessness, anatta or anatman, and then the emptiness, shunyata. 4. You're getting it? So I'm going to explain this, pertaining, in fact, it is not, there's no contradiction between what is said, sometimes 3, sometimes 4. 4 is more elaboration of the 3. Elaboration of the 3. 3 is correct, 4 is correct. Okay. Okay, it is more like saying the people in this group can be classified into 2 ways, into 2 or into 3, right? Into 2, I say those who are 30 and below. Okay, tell me, 13 below, no one. Okay, again, only one representative. Okay, let's say, okay, complicated. It does matter. Let's say 40 and below. Raise your hands. Not me. 40 and below. Okay, 14 below. Only 3, 4, 5. Okay, many. Yes, 14 below. Let's say. Okay, so I can classify the people here in this group into 40 and below and 40 plus. Another one way of classification. Another way of classification is 40 and below, or the 40 plus till 50, which means I'm included, right? And then 50 plus. Is it correct? So the second version has 3 divisions. First version is only 2 divisions. So the 3 divisions is nothing but the elaboration of the first one. You're getting it? Likewise, same splitting into 3, splitting into 4, pertaining to the characteristics of the 4 seals. You getting it? Okay, so what are they? Impermanence, suffering, selflessness. 3, or you want to make it 4. Impermanence, suffering, selflessness, and emptiness 4. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll do on the basis of the 4. Okay, Satipatthana Sutra, the 4 mindfulness, the sutra on the 4 mindfulnesses. Okay, what are the 4 mindfulnesses? The mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of the feeling, mindfulness of the mind, mindfulness of the phenomena. 4. Mindfulness of the body, feeling, consciousness of the mind, body, feeling, consciousness, and the phenomena. 4. Okay, so with these 4 things, okay, why I'm explaining the 4 mindfulnesses, but not pertaining to what Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra explained here. I'm explaining this pertaining to both. One, which is commonly practiced by all the traditions, all the 3 traditions, and what the Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra explained here is something which is uniquely presented or practiced by the Prasangika practitioners. Okay, so the one which is common to all 4, the body. Say the body we see. Okay, don't forget it. We have the mindfulness of the body. What are they? Body, feeling, mind or consciousness, and phenomena 4. On the other hand, we have the 4 things, the four characteristics of the 4 seals. What are they? Impermanence, suffering, selflessness, emptiness 4. Okay, so what we have to do is that these 4, the 4 mindfulnesses on the basis of the body, feeling, consciousness, and the phenomena. These 4, we have to correlate with the 4 characteristics pertaining to the 4 seals. We have to correlate them. You getting it? Okay, first the body. For the body of the 4 of the form, the body, we see that particularly in Thailand, in other places, they say the display in the monasteries, there's a display of the cobs in stages, the fresh cob, and then after 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, like this, right? How the body decays. So telling us that our body is impure. What this body goes through that I'm looking at, my body is the same. You're getting it? My body is very clean, right? Okay, this sweet, right? You take it, and you give it to me. No, it's dirty, right? So this sweet is much, much, much cleaner than my body when it decays after 3 weeks, 1 month. 1 month is terrible. Nobody wants to even look at it. At least the sweet, you can look at it. Right? So our body is so impure, so unclean. So the body as the mindfulness of the body as impure. Right? Okay, I don't want to say too many things in this here. So actually the body is really impure. So you have to understand what I meant. I said I don't want to say this in this gathering. Body is really impure. You understand what I'm saying? You understand? It implies something else. So that you have to understand. That is the impurity of the body. Body is really, really very impure. Okay. And if you don't take shower for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, terrible. Then the body displays its true nature. Terrible, really terrible. Right? Okay. So this His Holiness the Dalai Lama really praises, really admires this tradition that you find in the Thailand, so forth, where people can actually see our own body, meaning the body in the different stages of the decay, right? Okay, so there, then you just see, it's just the same thing, the same body at the moment is held by the consciousness, the mind, and you clean it up every day, right? Okay. Whereas if you let it be in its true nature, first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then Arya Asanga in his text, the Sharvaka Bhumi, the Sharvaka ground. So there he very clearly explained all what is said, all what is done in the Thailand monasteries. He very clearly explained each of these steps in the Sharvaka Bhumi. After 1 week, what the body will become like, what degree of decaying. Number 3, number 4 stages, stage number 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. Okay, this is what, if you can reflect more, meditate more, then we see that our body is really unclean. You're getting it? Okay, unclean. Unclean of the body and of the 4 characteristics of the 4 seals, right? What are the four categories? So we have to correlate. We may not be able to correlate just 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. You have to analyze. Okay, where the body is impure, out of the 4, what are the 4? Impermanence, no. What is next? Suffering, no. What is 3? Selflessness, no. What is number 4? Emptiness. Okay, this emptiness is the meaning of the impurities and the unclean. The body as unclean. Mindfulness, meditation of mindfulness to the body to be unclean. That you have to relate with the emptiness. Okay, you may be confused, I know. From your face I can see that, right? You may think, what is emptiness? Emptiness thus far is like illusion, like. Now suddenly it says unclean. Okay, I understand it. Okay, first what I would say is that, if you could remember during the meditation of the emptiness of the self, how did we do? We just went into the 6 elements. You agree with me? Then the 6 elements, we just, if the person truly exists objectively, then only there are 2 options. What's the first option? The 6 elements should be the person, This is one option, but they are not. First option is rule out. Then second option is taking aside these 6 elements. They must be removing the 6 elements. Then the self should be left as different from the 6 elements. Is there the self? When removing the 6 elements, what happened to the self? Nothing's left there, right? So even that option is also ruled out. So ruling out the 2 options, the two only options, then it tells us that nothing really exists from the object, right? So the main thesis is what? The self does not exist from the object. To support this, to understand this, we have to understand 2 things. That the self is not one with its parts, not different from its parts. You have to know the 2 things. So, emptiness and selflessness, anicca, impermanence. Then the what? Dukkha, suffering. Then the selflessness, anatta, and the emptiness, shunyata. These two things are not the subtle understanding of the selflessness and not the subtle understanding of the shunyata. It's a very gross understanding of shunyata, gross understanding of selflessness. Okay, what is that? So, when you speak about the real shunyata or the anatta, right? What is that? The self does not exist objectively, right? Now, to prove that, we have to know 2 things. That the self is not one with the parts, and the self is not different from the parts. 2 things. These 2 things are very gross as compared to the main thesis. Main thesis is very subtle, that the self does not exist objectively. You're getting it? That the self does not exist. For example, let's say, it is like, say somebody blames me that, okay, you have taken my, what? You have taken my? You have taken my money, or you have taken my gold bracelet, and it's in your hand right now. It's in your hand, right? It's in your hand. How many hands do I have? 2 hands. So I stretch my 2 hands. If the self does exist, there are only 2 possible ways of existing objectively. If the self exists objectively, there are only 2 possible ways. If the person's allegation that the golden bracelet was stolen by me and it is in my hand right now, I have only 2 hands. There are only 2 options for me having taken it and that being in my hand. Right hand, empty. Then left hand, empty. Right? If I show the left hand empty, it doesn't mean that I've proven yet. Have I proven fully? No. Right? And then, or otherwise I will open the left verse. Proven? Not proven. So I have to open both and say that nothing's there in my hands. You're getting it? So because I have only 2 hands, I opened up both are empty. So this disproves the person's allegation that I've stolen the golden bracelet. You're getting it? Likewise, if the self exists objectively, there are only 2 options. Either the self should exist as one with the parts, or it should exist as different from the parts. In other words, when you subject the self into ultimate analysis, what do you see? You end up seeing the 6 elements. Right? You have gone too close to the object now. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If the self exists objectively, why don't I see the self as I go closer to the object? Going closer to the object, what do I see? I see the 6 elements. You getting it? Okay, now if the self does exist objectively, I've gone too close to the object. From the object, what I see is the 6 elements. And 6 elements are not the self. So it's not one with the self. Remove the 6 elements. What is left? Nothing is left there. The self is not different from the 6 elements also. So, from the object, I don't find anything. These are 2 options. So, seeing the self not as one with the parts is known as selflessness. Self as not different from the parts is known as emptiness in this context. So these 2 things, emptiness and selflessness, these 2 should not be mixed with the emptiness in the how we understand the emptiness and selflessness in the very subtle standpoint. What we understand here is the gross one. The self not being one with the parts is this selflessness, and self not being different from the parts is Hey. Self not being one with the parts is selflessness. Self not being different from the parts is emptiness. In this context, in the context of the third seal. What is the third seal? Everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Or some other translation says all what? All phenomena are empty and selflessness. It's fine, whichever translation, it doesn't matter. The thing is that, say, with third seal, there are two things, selflessness and emptiness. These two things are the gross one, not the subtle one. You're getting it? What is the selflessness in the context of the third seal? That the whole or the self is not one with its parts. One. Then what is the emptiness in the context of the third seal? That the self is not different from the parts. You're getting it? That the self is not different from the parts. Okay, so we have the feeling that, right, say, okay, my body, okay, let's say that, okay, the same, that I, this self, right? This body, this I, this self is very pure. We have a misconception that I'm very clean, I'm very pure. And then on that basis, you can impose this on your body also. While the body is very impure, but we impose this on our body. Of course, this is how we do. Do we do that? Do we see people also doing that? Do yourself also doing that? Right? We see our bodies very clean as compared to others. You're getting it? Okay. So the body to be impure. Body is unclean. That the body is, say, unclean is what? Unclean is with respect to the emptiness. Emptiness meaning that the body and the self, these two are not objectively different. Empty of being different. The self and the body, these two are empty of being different. This is the body to be unclean. You getting it? Okay. So sometimes we have the feeling that say I as to be dirty, but say the I to be very clean with respect to the body, my body is very clean. Right? Okay, so the point is that you identify yourself. You identify yourself with the identifying the body. And then in some cases, people identify themselves with their mind. In some cases, people identify themselves with their body. Right? So when you say, I am a man, I'm a girl, you identify yourself more with the body. So then say whatever feature that you have, okay, I'm a little fat now, right? I'm slim now. You identify that with your body. And then somebody says, okay, I'm compassionate, I'm not so compassionate. We identify ourselves with the mind. And oftentimes, people identify the self, and the philosophers identify the self. And particularly when you go into this kind of the journey, we identify ourselves. The tendency is we identify ourselves with the mind very strongly. When that happens, then we isolate the I and the body. I and the body as two different entities. I associate with the mind and the body as different. So now it says that the body and I, these two are empty of being different. Emptiness. Empty of being different. You're getting it? Empty of being different. So this body, which we see as very clean, is actually not as clean, not really clean, right? So that is to do with the what? Body to be impure. What is number two? What is number two? Body? Feeling. Okay, the feeling. Feeling, now, of the four characteristics of the four seals, what are left? First one is what? Impermanence, no. What second? Suffering. The feeling is suffering nature. Feeling is suffering nature, dukkha, right? Feeling that we go through. Okay, the mindfulness of the feeling to be of suffering nature. Okay, what kinds of feeling do we have? Pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, or neutral feeling. What feelings do we have? All three we have. Okay, all three, let's see. All three, they are the suffering, all three feelings, unless you reach the gate, paragate, unless you reach the paragate level, any feeling that we go through is some form of suffering. Feeling, mindfulness of the feeling to be suffering nature. You're getting it? Mindfulness of the feeling to be suffering nature. How? Feeling is of three kinds. What are they? Pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, and the neutral. Okay, pleasant feeling. Pleasant feeling is, unpleasant feeling. First, unpleasant feeling. Suffering there, how many kinds of suffering are there? Three kinds of suffering there. What are they? Suffering, suffering chain, pervasive condition suffering. Pervasive condition suffering. Three kinds of suffering, right? Okay, the first suffering, what is the suffering? Suffering of suffering. What is suffering? All the manifest suffering which we easily identify as suffering. So of the three feelings, feeling the unpleasant feeling, they are this suffering. Then what is the next? Pleasant feelings. Pleasant feelings that we go through, ordinary people, we go through that pleasant feeling, contaminated pleasant feelings, they fall under the category of suffering change. Okay, why suffering change? What do you mean by understand? What do you understand by suffering change? Okay, so let's make it very quick. As Kim said, the suffering, the pleasure or the happiness, pleasant feeling is nothing but a bait. Bait means a delicious food in order to catch the fish. Right? So we are like the fish. Right? And the Lord of Death, or what is that? Yamas. Yamas meaning what? Denizens. Right? The metaphorically, karma, contaminated karmas and afflictions, they are depicted in the form of the yamas or the demons to trap us into samsara, and they give us the manifest suffering. We'll run away from samsara, right? So they don't want to make us run away. They want to trap us in samsara. So what they do, they give us the happiness, right? So to catch the fish, they give us a very delicious food with a hook. Then the fish comes closer. If the food is rotten food, no fish will come. So it should be delicious. So therefore, the pleasant feelings, they are like the bait to catch us, to trap us in samsara, right? So this, if we really realize that the pleasant feeling is what traps us in samsara, we will feel that is so vicious. This is the word, so vicious. Pleasant feeling, right? Pleasant feeling is bad. No. Because of the pleasant feeling, then we are so weak. We easily get trapped there. We easily get glued there. Like the meat and the dog. Meat and dog, what happens? Dog will remain for a while or will jump. So this is the weakness. This weakness. Whereas if you can control, okay, there's nothing really there as a pleasant feeling there. It's just coming from your mind. If we realize this, we can then control. Whereas when that does not happen, then we automatically, what we studied 2 days ago. From the feelings, pleasant feelings, the craving arises. You're getting it? Okay. With this, the point is that the body, then the feeling, with the feeling there are three. The unpleasant feeling is of the suffering. Which suffering? Suffering. Pleasant feeling, like the bait, suffering change. Then finally which feeling? Neutral feeling. Neutral feeling falls under the category of the pervasive condition suffering. Because neutral feeling, if you have a neutral, you have no attachment, you have no aversion. Neutral feeling, then you see the neutral feeling as objective real. And then what is that state? Seeing the neutral feeling of objective real, attachment, aversion, ignorance, what is that? Okay, so with the neutral feeling, your ignorance continues. Right? So this ignorance is the worst of the contamination. Ignorance is the worst of the contamination, and we are under the influence of the ignorance. We are under the influence of the affliction. You're getting it? Affliction. That is known as the third suffering. What is the third suffering? Pervasive condition suffering. In other words, pervasive condition suffering is the suffering where we are suffering, where we are under the sway. Okay, the one version is the way we are under the sway of the contaminated karmas and afflictions. Suffering where we are under the sway, we are under the control of afflictions and the contaminated karmas. This is known as the pervasive conditioned suffering. Right? Okay. So this we see that feelings are the nature of the suffering. Done. What is number 3? Number 3, mindfulness. Mindfulness of the mind, mindfulness of the consciousness. Okay. Now of the 4 categories which are done. Impermanence is done. Dukkha is done. Then what? Self is not done and the emptiness is done. Right? Okay, now with the mind, what should we do? Impermanence is done, right? No done. Done? No done. Okay, more loud. If it's not done, it's not done. Okay, not done. Very good. So with the mind, we should see the mind as impermanent. You're getting it? Mindfulness of the consciousness to be impermanent. Okay. Meaning that, say, finally, what feels happy, what feels sad? My mind, this mind. So this mind, we see that it is very transitory. It's so fluctuating. It's transitory, momentary. It's impermanent. When you realize that our mind is so impermanent, what is there for me to feel that my mind, which is feeling happy, now I'm happy, now I'm sad. What is there? It's so transitory. It just changes like this. It's nothing really worth to feel that I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm pain, right? Okay, this impermanence. What is next? Of the four mindfulnesses, mindfulness of phenomena. Okay, same. Phenomena here refers to phenomena here is not the phenomenon in general. It's a phenomena, all phenomena other than the first 3. Body, feeling, and mind, right? All phenomena other than these 3. Okay, so phenomena as, now what is left? Of the 4 characteristics of the 4 seeds, what is left? Selflessness. Phenomena to be seen as the nature of the selflessness. That. Okay, so this one, you can relate this to the subtle selflessness. You can relate this to the subtle selflessness. That it is empty of objective existence. You're getting it? Okay. So this is how the 4 mindfulness Satipatthana Sutra is practiced by all the 3 traditions. You getting it? Okay. Now next, which is extremely important thing, which just for your information, at one point suddenly a thought came in me about how the four mindfulnesses, the body, feeling, then what? The mind, phenomena, these 4. Suddenly a strange thought came to me. My own version of understanding of the 4 mindfulnesses. It came to me, and then I was so fascinated. Wow, it's amazing. Then I read Arya Asanga's Shravaka Bhumi. I was reading this. In fact, initially when this thought came to me, I was so fascinated. Wow. Some kind of breakthrough, right? Breakthrough and a very different and so profoundly sensible. Wow, hooray. This kind of feeling came to me. Wow. I never saw this in any text. Wow, amazing. Then I read Arasanga's the Shravaka Bhumi. I read this sutra. There are so many versions taught. Mine was just one of them. Then it made me so small. Right? Oh no. there is this great saint, Arasanga, who taught all innumerable versions. And what came to my thought, it was just a tiny bit of it. Just one of the, not really hundreds, maybe I think 10, 15, 20 versions, he said. Of this, what the thought that came to me was just one of it. It was just precisely said by him as one of it. Wow, it just made me so small. It made me crunch. Okay, so what is that? First, what is the first? What's the first? Hey, for mindfulness is? Body. Okay, going back to the cheesecake. Going back to the cheesecake, right? Body. Okay, when I see the cheesecake, it doesn't mean that I like cheesecake, right? So many people, they bring the cheesecake. Anyway, thank you for all those who brought the cheesecake to me, right? Because I know that many people, they like it. I'm deliberately giving this example. Okay, so say when I see the cheesecake, say for example, we all like the cheesecake so much, and then we do not get the chance to have cheesecake for the last, like, say, 5 years. Suddenly you see the cheesecake, the color. Okay, cheesecake. What is cheesecake? Physical? The body? Feeling? Mind? Or what? Hey, what is cheesecake? Tell me. It's not a body. Okay, body doesn't mean the body like this. Physical, form. Yes, the form, feeling, mind, phenomena. Okay, same. The body, the physical. Oh, I'm seeing a physical cheesecake there. There's a physical cheesecake, right? So my mouth starts watering, which means that attachment to the cheesecake. Okay, then somebody reads the expiry date. It says it's 2016. Right? It looks so nice, but in the expiry date says that it's 2016, it expires. Then what happens? Your mouth will stop watering. Right? Mouth will stop watering. Okay. Now, the cheesecake is a physical object, right? Simply by seeing the shifting the label, oh, cheesecake, oh, it's expired. From there, the emotion changes. Emotion change. Which means cheesecake per se did not give rise to the attachment. This is so important. Okay, just as I'm applying this to the attachment, you can apply this to the aversion also. Attachment, aversion, jealousy. You can apply this to all negative emotions. First, the object. And the object, whereas when we see, if one is so addicted to cheesecake, addicted to alcohol, addicted to this, that, so forth, the object sees that this is what I like, this object, right? We feel attached to the object. But if you think very carefully, we are not really attached to the object, we're attached to the moment. Why? How do you know that we're not really attached to the physical object, the body? Because when we come to say, okay, how many of you like the momos in Mangalore-Ganj? Momos in Dharamsala. You like momos? Okay. Okay, what do you like then? The momos. Let's say momos, right? Okay, let's say momos. In fact, when I was young, during the childhood time, childhood days, it was in school, the boarding school, and the momos, so less. We get momos only on 2 occasions in a year. One, the Tibetan New Year, and the other, the founding day of the school. Only these 2 days. With momos, right? Just everybody just glows. Okay. Then one day, very unusually, the school during the winter holiday, the students who did not go for holiday, they were taken for a picnic. So I was there. I was one of them, a young child, maybe age, I think maybe 10, I think. Then I did not know that I was sick. And what was that time, if somebody asked me what was my favorite food, what do you think? Momos. And that too, non-veg momos. Right? Okay, non-veg momos. Those days, not now. Right? I realized I did not know that I was sick. So it so happened, I was so fascinated. What happened was that evening, the dinner was momos. And then people were cooking momos. It was picnic outside to a very far away place near river bank, and the people were cooking, the senior students, they were cooking food, the momos there, and the smell so strong that when I could smell the momos, it really made me throw up. It just made me throw up, right? Otherwise, impossible. Momos, the smell is the word, the divine, the flavor, the divine fragrance, right? But no, that time, it just made me throw up. And then, oh no, something is wrong with me. Still, I did not know that I was sick. Then people started the children, they all started to go to get the momos, the bell rang for the dinner, everybody, and people are coming close by me. The smell becomes so strong. I was just throwing up. And meanwhile, the momos and the oranges, I still remember. The one orange, each child. And then I took my share of the orange. I did not go to have the momos. Okay, so tell me, why this boy whose favorite food was momos, getting only 2 times a year, right? So inclined towards momos. That time, he did not have any liking towards momos. Just the thought of the momos made him so repulse him. Tell me why. Sick. That's true. Sick. Why when sick, not the momos? When sick, why not the momos then? Because, okay, look, this is very important. Because, okay, what is after the physical form? Feeling. Right? Usually the momos, the mouth waters, just a pleasant feeling comes in you. Now the pleasant feeling is not coming. Unpleasant feeling is coming in me. You're getting it? When sick. So, I'm not really attached to the momos. I'm attached to the pleasant feeling inside. You're getting it? When the pleasant feeling is no more coming, then the attachment to the momo stops. So the momo per se, physical form per se, is not what triggers happiness, the attachment in you. It is the pleasant feeling inside, not external object. So therefore, it shifts to the second, the mindfulness of the feelings. First, mindfulness of the body. Body means physical objects. Say as a person, as a cheesecake, as a flower, as a beautiful car, as a beautiful house, whatever we feel attached to, physical object, one. Then number two, you realize that you, say for example, if you have the fractured arm, right? And somebody who loves you so much, the person, I say, generally speaking, somebody who loves you so much, person dressed like this, you're so happy, right? Pats you like this, you're so happy because you love the person so much, right? Okay, now you have a fractured arm, the person said like this, hey, right? Please don't do it, right? The mere thought that a person about to pat you, it scares you. No feeling of pleasant feeling. Unpleasant feeling is coming now. Okay, so the person per se is not the object of attachment. It's a feeling inside. So from the physical form, it shifts to the feeling. So therefore, this is so important. So the mindfulness of the physical object, this is the first degree of the meditation. Then we should switch to the feeling, because finally, it is not the object. encounter the object, what feelings arise within you? Pleasant feelings arise, then the attachment jumps. Unpleasant feeling arise, attachment does not happen. So, towards the object, attachment not attached, it is determined by the feeling, not by the object per se. So, the meditation on the mindfulness of the feeling is subtler than meditation on the mindfulness of the body. Number 2. Right? Okay. What is number 2? Feeling. What is number 3? Mind. Who is experiencing this feeling? My mind is experiencing it. You're getting it? My mind is experiencing it. So this mind, right? So this feeling is fluctuating, right? Say with the momos, how long does it eat? How long does it take for you to eat momos, enjoy momos? Huh? 5 minutes? 10 minutes? Okay, 10 minutes of happiness, and it disappears, right? And then you say, first momo, delicious. Second momo, delicious. Fifth momo is okay. 10 momos, okay. For the boys, maybe it's okay. For the girls, maybe it's okay. Then the 20th momos, for the boys, okay. For the girls, no. 20th momo, no. 25th momo, it throws you up. It makes you throw up. 20th momo, tell me which is more delicious? First piece of momo or the 50th momo? Which is more delicious? First one. Leave the first one the last. Leave the first one the last. Yeah, leave the first one the last and eat the last one first. Right? So that last time you will not feel the throwing up because the first one is very delicious. Same. Okay, so what is happening is that, say, the momo, say, we're enjoying it, say 10 minutes. Then after that, you keep eating it, then it starts throwing up. So what is stable is what? What is stable is the mind. The mind is the one which experiences a pleasure. Mind is one which experiences a pain. This mind is the one, right? This mind. So therefore, say, we have to see the nature of the mind. Nature of the mind. Good. Okay, what is next? The phenomena. This mind, whose mind? My mind, the self. You're getting it? So from the object, the physical form, it shifts to the feeling. Feeling, it shifts to the mind. Mind, it shifts to the person, I. So this person, I, falls in the category of the phenomena. So the mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of the feeling, mindfulness of the mind, mindfulness of the phenomena in the context of the person. Right? This is extremely, extremely powerful practice. Right? So therefore, if you see the emptiness of the object, the physical form, emptiness of the feeling, then the emptiness of the mind, then the emptiness of the self. Right? So this is how we see finally the final source of the problem is related to the self. The self. This person unkind to me. We never say this person is unkind to my mind. We don't say this. Right? This flower is so good to my mind. We don't say this. This flower is so good to me. This person unkind to me. So finally we see that I want this object. I want this flower because I get a pleasant feeling. Right? And where? To my mind is so pleasant and ease to my mind. Whose mind? My mind. So this is how we shift. Right? So if you think in this way, this is a beautiful practice of the 4 mindfulnesses. So this was what suddenly it came to my mind. A very beautiful link there. I was so fascinated. And then I read Shravaka Bhumi of Arya Sangha. Innumerable versions were taught there. And what came to my mind was just a part of it. Okay. It's already 5:30. We have another, how many stanzas left? 99, right? Okay, don't worry too much. So the point is that from stanza 150 down is very easy. It is just reading, and we read this, we'll understand it. This is only about how to intensify our compassion towards the sentient beings, up to knowing what emptiness is, how everything is like a dream, right? Okay, this is it. And then I think we can finish it. Don't worry, we can finish it. Okay, so now, see, quickly, I will take another 10 minutes. Is it fine? Those of you who are busy, you can, slowly take your leave. But I'll take another 10 minutes. Okay, now, so Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra, so this is this version which I explained to you, that the body to be impure, then the feeling as dukkha, suffering, then the mind as impermanent, and the phenomena as selfless nature. So this presentation, the meditation, is done by the practitioners of all the three traditions. Theravada tradition, Chinese Mahayana tradition, Tibetan tradition, all three. Right? Okay. Now what is presented here by the Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra is something unique for the Mahayana Prasangika, for the Prasangika practitioners. Okay, so here the body, emptiness of the body, emptiness of the feeling, emptiness of the mind, and emptiness of the phenomena. You're getting it? So all four related to the emptiness. This is the unique understanding and the presentation, the meditation on four mindfulnesses. And the reason is the same. Reason same. We switch our attachment, right? On the surface, our attachment is to the physical objects, physical body. Then, deeper inside is our attachment to the feelings inside. And deeper inside is because of a sense of the eternity, that the mind is something so solid, as something so permanent. And then deeper inside is there's this I, right? So it's the emptiness of each of these four, one by one. Okay, this is the unique presentation. Okay, now it's the body. How to see the emptiness of the body? So the way it is done in the substance of person is being done here. Okay, the body is neither what we see here. We subject the body to ultimate analysis. We subject the body to ultimate analysis. We see the body. What we see is the body disappears. For example, the human body, or the cheesecake, or the flower, or the beautiful car, or the beautiful, what is that? The garden at the bay. Garden by the bay, right? So all these beautiful things, say, we subject them to ultimate analysis, they disappear, right? And see how much we can do this more often. Subject these things, whatever seems so appealing, right? Just see how much we can do them more often. The more we are able to do this, right? Say during the parties, we see that everybody is coming in the best of the dress, best of the appearance, right? So this is best appearances. This is not how the person is. In the house is very different. Right? In the house is very different. Okay, so there they deliberately come in this appearance to give a different impression. Right? So they don't want to show the impression what they have at house. They come a little different. Okay, so there's a discrepancy between appearance and the reality. One, and even the beautiful garden. Right? Garden by the bay. So let's say even this is very beautiful, but it doesn't mean they don't enjoy it. The point is, just spend your time to subject this to ultimate analysis, and then realize that even what I see is so beautiful up there is nothing more than the appearance. Just appearance. It appears. Go to this object is empty. It's not really there. It's just made of atoms. Yes, no? Garden by the bay. It's just millions of atoms. Right? There's nothing really there as a garden by the bay. It's just atoms, right? Just atoms. Yet, You don't analyze it like this. You don't substitute ultimate analysis. You look at it. Wow, beautiful. The appearance comes. This appearance, beautiful appearance comes. So, going towards the object, nothing's really there. So therefore, the conclusion is that it's just the mere appearance. Beyond this appearance, nothing's really there. Just appearance. Just appearance means that there's nothing. It's just coming from my mind. There's nothing really there from my object. And so, the more we think like this, our mind will slowly reduce the intensity of seeing things as objectively real. And it requires time. Time meaning, the more we think about these things, the more our mind will slowly pull down. And so earlier, we may be we become so vulnerable, so easily pulled by some addictions like this. You know, keep doing this. Slowly, even this addiction slow down. You see that it's under control, right? And slowly, somebody says, "Oh, he's not really nice. She's she's in distress, right?" So, in just one day, she changed twice, 2 times, right? So, whatever other people say is like an echo. It's just like a dream. Who cares? Right? It's just coming from a mind, right? From the object, there's nothing really there. You're going to believe that otherwise, even a tiny, small thing can just make the person so angry, so disturbed. A small thing. Oh, he said it like this. He said I'm not nice. Then you stop eating food. And then you suffer the sleep deprivation, right? And then you don't talk to other people. You really become ugly now, right? So you're not talking to anyone. You become so... very small things can easily affect us. So this is where it's just unnecessary torture upon ourselves. And what made us who torture us is self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. These two are torturing us, right? Small things can affect us, which means we're so weak. Why should you be weak? Be strong. Be strong boy. Be strong girl. Right? Right? Be strong boy. Be strong girl. Don't be easily affected by external factors. Be strong. Right? Right? When somebody says something, it doesn't matter, who cares? Right? It's like an echo, it's like a dream, right? Who cares? Right? Remain strong. Right? So, how can we remain strong? Only if we see that they are like the echoes. Echo meaning it's not really coming from the actual source. So, from the cave, you say something, hey, stupid. He will also say stupid. Right? So it's just an echo. What you say is reflected. Just echo. It's nothing really. Who knows what is there? Who's saying that you're stupid? And you become so angry. Hey, stupid. And he says, you stupid. And you become very angry. You are really stupid. So therefore, so only if you realize that it's just coming from a mind. Somebody said you're stupid. It's also coming from a mind. Somebody said, you're so nice. It's also coming from my mind. Why should I feel so attached? Why should I feel so great about it? It's also like illusion. It's like a dream, right? So the more we reflect on this, then what happens is that, slowly you become your immune system, right? Immunity to bear, to tolerate these problems will become stronger. And eventually, then if somebody's okay, bad things happen, so what? It's fine, right? You are not affected. When you are not affected by external factors, this is the meaning of you being strong. Otherwise, he said like this, why? You are showing as well you are very strong. You are easily affected. You are just you are proving that I'm not strong, I'm weak. That you're easily affected by even one word. Right? Whereas the real strength is when somebody says something harsh, bad thing in you, and then you just try to see that it's like an echo, like a dream. So why should I be affected by dream, by echo? Right? Okay, just for information. Sometimes, just sharing, sometimes, when when I think about emptiness, reflect on emptiness more, and then the also observing my own dreams, and then during the partial dreams, right, dreams there, and then the content of the dream start talking to me, and I start reacting to them, and sometimes I become very emotional, irritated, or swayed by the dream, and then suddenly be aware. Oh no, you're dreaming. Don't be stupid. Don't be stupidly reactive to this dream. It's just coming from your mind, right? These things do happen sometimes. The point is, what I'm saying is that the more we reflect on these points, and then particularly what can trigger, the feelings, pleasant feelings, unpleasant feelings when they happen, right? And then give us a little time. Okay, this is what is happening. Oh, it's so pleasant, it's so nice, but subject to ultimate analysis. What is really there? Not really there. Okay, once you get just a tinge of the experience, abiding this experience for a while, right? Okay, so this is how, if you can habituate your mind, then this is the meaning of the dharma. Where then the real transformation of mind takes place. Mind, grasping to the objective existence, become weaker, and seeing things as illusion becomes stronger. And then we see that, slowly we see that what, like 10 years ago, which can easily trigger irritation, fear, tension, anxiety, and so forth, doesn't really affect you as much. It's fine. Right? So then that is the sign of your strength, that you are not affected by external factors. That is the strength. Not that somebody says you are stupid. How dare you say me stupid, proving as though you're strong. This is your weakness. So the aggression, anger is nothing but the sign of weakness. Right? So showing anger, shouting at your mother, shouting at your parents, your wife, your husband, your children, so forth, this is not at all a sign of strength, it's a sign of weakness. Right? Say a person cannot shout at somebody outside, but can shout somebody inside in the family. Because the family, they will, bear with you. So you can shout only to those people who can bear with you, not somebody else, which means you are weak. So therefore, if you are really strong, if you really want to prove that I'm strong, shouting at your mother like this, prove it by remaining calm. The mother may do some mistakes here and there, may not be so tidy, so clean, like this. She may speak too much sometimes, right? So it sounds like this. Be calm. Then the mother will see wonder in you, right? The mother see wonder in you. Then you start saying something, mother will listen to you, right? Whereas the mother says something and you say something, right? You just, like a dog, you start barking. Then the mother will pay, not it'll pay, because the mother says you are not strong, right? So this is actually one of my wonderful friends. He shared me about a story of one saint who was bold enough to tell other people who claim to be gurus, right? I'm not going to specify where. The big label gurus. And then he boldly told these gurus that I can say anything bad against you and you cannot curse me because you don't have the strength. You're so weak. You are not at all helping the poor people. Right? You are just gathering money. You are not at all helping the poor people. Which means that you are so weak as ordinary people. You are not strong. If you are not strong, even if you curse against me, the curse will not hit me. Right? He's so bold and says. The point that I'm saying is that if somebody expresses such aggression, anger, and so forth, this is nothing but a sign of weakness. Right? Whereas, which is more difficult? To express anger or, right, to remain calm and peaceful? Which is more difficult? To remain calm and peaceful, more difficult. Instantly, your heart palpitates, right? somebody says, you stupid, then his heart starts palpitating, right? You cannot control the heart. Which is a weakness. We're so weak. So therefore, this palpitates and this anger comes out, right? So therefore, this anger and these things are nothing but the sign of weakness. Weakness means that you will continue to suffer, right? So therefore, the first step after studying all these emptiness and so forth, the first step that we try to do is at home, at least at home, right? At least at home, see how you react to your family members, to your mother, to your father, to your husband, to your wife, to your children. If you easily shout, if you easily lose temper and so forth, just check yourself, do you do the same thing to your boss in your work? If you don't do that, this is a sign of weakness. Why should you let your family members who love you the most suffer? Why do you make them suffer? Right? So this is an indication of your weakness, not the sign of strength. What is the real strength? Okay, I should not prove myself to be weak. I should prove myself to be strong. How? I will remain myself calm and peaceful. Only when I remain calm and peaceful under the given situation, then the other family members, they will see the strength. They will see the transformation there. Okay, they went to TBC and Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra, the study is, now they have changed, right? Earlier she easily shouts at me, he easily shouts at me. Now even this situation, he remains so calm, peaceful, he remains so calm. Wow, what a change. We should also study Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra's text. Right? Otherwise, right? You go there and then after the class, okay, now we finish the class. You must be tired. What water? What tea? It's the same short-tempered. Then the mother was, okay. Then your brother or somebody else tells mother, where did my sister go? Oh, went to somewhere, TPC. Oh, what are they doing? But don't do that. It doesn't really help you. Look at this girl. Look at this boy. No change. Right? Don't study Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra's text. Go to Bodhisattva. No need. No benefit. Right? Same person. Right? Whereas if you change, then they will be inspired. Okay, I should also like to, where can I go to TPC? What is the TPC address? Right? Okay, so that way they will be inspired. They will be inspired to study Bodhisattva's text, guide the Bodhisattva's way of life, so forth. This is how we can contribute to the... Okay, first, make your family happy. This is the point. Okay, we'll stop here.